really don't have that much because I just ran out of time. Yeah. I just avoid it. I don't need to use it. It might cut off 5 minutes when there's no traffic, but 5 minutes isn't really that much. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. My father just asked me if I wanted this car.
I do, but my desk and on my, you may have to go back to your
on this wonderful Shabbat. The one Shabbat in Hanukkah this year. Before we get started, may I ask everyone to please silence their electronic devices, cell phones, etc. What I'd really like to do is shut off the lights and ask you to put your flashlights on so each of you could be the spark for Hanukkah tonight. But we'll save that for another time. There's always a time for each of you to be a spark. We're thrilled to have you here, and hopefully those who are at home on virtual Temple Sinai are now able to log in. We did have some technical difficulties with our streaming services this evening, and hopefully the second link is delivered across America and indeed maybe across the world. I'm Lynn Weinstein, co-president, along with Betty Adams. And this evening's service is actually going to start with Hanukkah, and then we'll roll right over and roll into Shabbat a little later in the service. Our services, of course, will be led by Rabbi Aviva Bass, student cantor Dan Geigerman, accompanied by Dr. David McFarlane. We hope that you brought wonderful, warm feelings on this cool night in Florida, and you were able to bring your menorah or your Hanukkah, whichever you choose to name it. And Rabbi will invite you to light your candles in a short time. Sit back, relax, and really enjoy being together tonight for Hanukkah and Shabbat.
Shabbat Shalom and Hanukkah Sameach. It's Happy Hanukkah. I'll do it that way. And Happy Hanukkah and Shabbat Shalom to those who are joining us and worshiping from afar. We welcome all of you in our community. It's so wonderful to be together for this Hanukkah Shabbat. So we're going to do a couple of songs, and then I will invite those who have brought their Hanukkah or Hanukkah menorah to come forward down, and I will join you down there, and we'll light the candles together. Okay, so let's
So
begin.
we will be between pages 668 and 671, thereabouts. We'll be hopping back and forth between certain songs. But we will begin on page 669. Not by might and not by power, but by Spirit alone shall we all live in peace. Not by might and not by power, but by Spirit alone shall we all live in peace. The children sing, the children dream, and their tears may fall, but we'll hear them call, and another song will rise. Another song will rise. Another song will rise. Not by might and not by power, but by Spirit alone shall we all live in peace. Not by might and not by power, but by Spirit alone shall we all live in peace. Not by might, not by power. Shalom. And as as we are about to light these beautiful menorot, the Chanukiot that are with us, we sing Light One Candle, which is on page 671. Light one candle for the Maccabee children. Give thanks that their light didn't die. Light one candle for the pain they endured when their right to exist was denied. Light one candle for the terrible sacrifice justice and freedom demand. Light one candle for the wisdom to know when the peacemaker's time is at hand. Don't let the light go out, it's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out, let it shine through our love and our tears. Light one candle for the strength that we need to never become our own foe. Light one candle for those who are suffering the pain we learned so long ago. Light one candle for all we believe in. Let anger not tear us apart. Light one candle to bind us together with peace as the song in our heart. Don't let the light go out, it's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out, let it shine through our love and our tears. What is the memory we valued so highly that we keep alive in that flame? What's the commitment to those who have died when we cry out they've not died in vain? We have come this far, always believing that justice will somehow prevail. This is the burden, and this is the promise, and this is why we will not fail. Don't let the light go out, it's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out, let it shine through our love and our tears. Don't let the light go out. Don't let the light go out. Don't let the light go out. Don't let the light go out.
And so at this time, I'd like to call up to the front on the bottom of the stairs here, and hopefully those at home can see that we have our Chanukiah, our Chanukiot, our Hanukkah menorahs lined up here, and we're going to light them. And if you folks at home haven't lit yours yet, please join us in doing so now.
And if you would like the page for the blessings, it is on page 571.
We need a matches. Sorry. I don't know, I saw them here.
And for friends who are here in the sanctuary, the Hanukkah that we'll be lighting is another Hanukkah that belongs to the Sapoznik family, Ellen of blessed memory, and Stephen, as many of you know, over the decades, collected as many as 72 Hanukkahot from all around their personal lives, their travel lives. You've seen a couple of different ones over the decades, and Stephen brought this particular one to share with us for this evening's. And we are very grateful to Stephen for bringing this. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to be with us this evening.
Everybody on your marks, light the
Okay.
shamash.
Everyone have a
Okay.
shamash? Okay.
We begin with the blessing over the candles. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Chanukah. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asa nisim lavoteinu, bayamim hahem, b'zman hazeh.
Put your hand over it. Here, we'll light it together. Here. You
Amen.
can do it with me. Yep. Left to right. Oh, 2 in 1. Yeah, well, she can see it on the, if she looks on the YouTube too. Ah, this one didn't want to go. There, whoop, almost.
It's a little wick.
It's tiny.
These guys too.
Oh, yeah.
Looks good.
Here, why don't you do this? I'm afraid I'm going to burn myself. People often ask me, well, which way do we put the candles and which way do we light? It's simple if you remember it this way. So, like Hebrew goes from right to left, that's how you put the candles in the Chanukiah, from right to left. But we always light the newest one first, the one that's for tonight. So that makes it left to right. But if you think, what's the newest one, then you'll always be correct. Yes, and yes. And there was also a debate between Hillel and Shammai. Should we start with all of them lit and every day take them down? That was Shammai's view. But Hillel won out, as he did with most of the arguments, and I'm so glad that he did, because we grow the light. It
Yes.
grows and grows through every night.
With our wonderful Chanukiot lit, we turn to page 669 for the traditional song of Ma'otzur. Ma'otzur Yeshuati Lechana Elishabeach Tikon Beit Tefilati V'sham Toda Nitzabeach Letachin Matbeach Mitzar Hamnabeach Az Egmor B'shir Mizmor Chanukat HaMizbeach Az Egmor B'shir Mizmor Chanukat HaMizbeach. Rock of ages, let our song praise your saving power. You amidst the raging foes were our sheltering tower. Furious their sword when our own strength failed us. Now, what would a Hanukkah be without a little bit of Oy Hanukkah? So if you turn the page to 670, we're going to be singing this a couple of times. We're actually going to be going backwards. We're going to start with the Yiddish, if you'd like to join me. Then we're going to go up to the top of the page. Probably you've never heard it sung in Hebrew. And then back one page to 669, the paragraph on the left. Yes? There you go. Oy Chanukah, ayom tefashener, a lustiker, a fröhlicher Nitro, noch a Säuner, alle Nacht in Dredlach spielen mir. Sucht dich heiße Ladgas, es don an Schier, geschwinder, sich Kinder, die Nickerlicht telechon. Sicht al Hanissim, lob Gott war die Nissim und kommt, geht tanzt in Kon. Siegt al Hanissim, lob Gott war die Nissim und kommt, geht tanzt in Kon. Yimei Chanukah mikdashenu, biglevi simcha mimalim et libenu, laila vayom sevivoenu yasov, suv ganiyot nachal bam laharov, hariu adliku nerot Chanukah rabim. Al hanisim ve'al haniflaot asher cholu magabim. Al hanisim ve'al haniflaot asher cholu hamagabim. Oh Hanukkah, come light the menorah. Let's have a party, we'll all dance the hora. Gather round the table, we'll give you a treat. Suvon to play with and latkes to eat. And while we are playing, the candles are burning low. One for each night they shed a sweet light to remind us of days long ago. One for each night they shed a sweet light to remind us of days long ago.
It was so wonderful hearing all of the Yiddish. Many of you were singing Yiddish. It was great. I love that.
We still got one more language at the end.
Oh, yes,
Yes,
we do.
one
I'm
more
very excited
language.
about that, but we'll get to that later. For now, we are going to shift gears into Kabbalat Shabbat, our evening Shabbat service, starting with the song Yedid Nefesh, which I believe is on 128. Let's see. Yes, the middle of the page on page 128.
Yedid nefesh av harachaman, Yedid nefesh av harachaman, mishochavecha eretz onecha, mishochavecha yadadadai eretz onecha yarutz avdecha kimo ayon ishtachave yadadadai el muhadarecha Yedid nefesh av harachaman Yedid
ready to bring in yet more light into our sanctuary, and I'm going to invite Judy Herman along with her sister Susan Rosen to come and light our Shabbat candles this evening. And we are on page 120 to 121. Amen. It's so good to have you both here. So good to see you, Susan. And now for Kiddush, pages 122 to 123. Thank you.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kirishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom tehillah lemikra'ei kodesh zecher letziat Mitzrayim kivanu v'charta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon inchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh Shabbat. Amen.
L'chaim. Exceptionally good vintage.
Yes. Now this week you might notice a little difference. We're going to be doing Shalom Aleichem before Lecha Dodi. And I think of it this way. In a wedding, you have the bridesmaids and the grooms come in first in order to support the bride and to bring up the joyfulness of the day. So we will welcome the angels first before we welcome in Shabbat with Lecha Dodi.
So page 142 is Shalom Aleichem. 142.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech malachei hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem l'shalom malachei hashalom malachei Elyon. Mi melech malachei hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
And now we turn back in our Siddur to page 138 and 139 as we welcome the Shabbat bride into our midst. Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala B'nei Shabbat Nekabela Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala B'nei Shabbat Nekabela Shamor v'zachor v'dibur echad Hishmianu el hameyuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad L'shemo tiferet v'livhila lecha dodi Likrat kala B'nei Shabbat Nekabela lecha dodi Likrat kala B'nei Shabbat Nekabela Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha Ki hi mekor ha-beracha Merosh mikedem nesucha So ma'aseh b'machshavat chila lecha dodi Likrat kala B'nei Shabbat Nekabela Lecha dodi Likrat kala B'nei Shabbat Nekabela. Sorry, we're not there
Verse
yet.
5.
Hitoreri, Kiva orechu mi ori, uri, shir daberi, Kivod Adonai alech nigla lecha dodi, Likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat, Nekabela, lecha dodi, Likrat kala B'nei Shabbat Nekabela Boi b'shalom ateret bala Gam b'simcha u'b'tzola Toch emunei am sekula Boi chala Lecha dodi Likrat kala B'nei Shabbat Nekabela Lecha dodi Likrat kala B'nei Shabbat Nekabela.
We remain standing as we turn to page 146 for the call to worship the Baruch Hu.
Yai dai dai, yai dai dai dai, yai dai dai, yai dai dai dai. Yai dai dai, yai dai dai dai, yai dai dai, yai dai dai dai. Yai dai 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 dai, yai dai yai dai dai dai, yai dai yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai, yai dai yai dai 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 dai, yai dai yai dai dai dai. Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach. Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach. Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Yai dai dai, yai dai dai dai, yai dai dai, yai dai dai dai.
Please take a seat. We join together at the top of page 149. Please read with me. 149. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. We turn to page 150 for the Ahavat Olam, the prayer that speaks to God's love for us as the Jewish people and the Torah as the sign of our covenant together. Page 150, Ahavat Olam.
Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Ahavta, Amcha Ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, Hukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta, Otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shochbeinu, uvkumenu nasiach bechukecha, v'nizmach b'divrei Toratecha, uv'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki hem chayenu, ve'orech yameinu, uvahem negei yomam v'layla, negei yomam v'layla. Be'ahavatcha al tasir, Mimenu le'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev amo Yisrael. Ohev amo Yisrael.
We rise in body or in spirit, or both, for the Shema, page 152.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
You may take a seat. I can't tell you how wonderful it is to hear you all singing. I had to be very quiet because I wanted to hear you. It was wonderful, beautiful. Keep it up. So let's turn to page 154 and continue now with Ve'ahavta.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha vehayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha Hayom al levavecha vishinantam levanecha v'dibarta baham b'shivtecha b'beitecha uvlechtecha b'derech uvshochbecha uvkumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha Vehayu letotafot beinecha Uchtavtam al mizuzot beitecha uvisharecha Leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kedoshim lelohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem Emet.
On Hanukkah, we think a lot about miracles. So we're going to turn to page 158 and recall another miracle, the miracle of the crossing of the Sea of Reeds, with the Michamocha.
Michamocha ba'elim Adonai Mihi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh Nora tehilot Osei feleh Mihi kamocha ba'elim Adonai Mihi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh Who is like you? Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you, Adonai? When Moses and the children crossed the sea, they sang to you with songs of joy. Who is like you, Adonai? Mihi chamocha ba'elim Adonai Mihi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh Nora tehilot
a moment, we will all rise for the tefillah, and we will begin that together on pages 164, 166, 168, and 170, all those even-numbered pages, the right side of the page. And then we will go into a time of silent prayer or meditation. And I invite you, when you do so, to really take your time with that. We'll wait till we're all finished, but please be seated when you are finished, or if you are one who is sitting during the Amidah, just look up so we know you're ready, and then we'll continue from there. Before we rise, please turn to page 165 at the bottom of the page for this Reb Nachman of Bratslav quote. Every word of one's prayer should be like a rose that is picked from a bush. One gathers rose upon rose until a bouquet is formed and can be offered to God as a beautiful blessing. I like that quote, but I like it also because a rose doesn't always have just blossoms. It also has thorns. And life can get quite thorny as well. And there are times when we really want to cry out to God, hey, I'm in the thorns here. So I think that is also a sentiment that is encouraged in Judaism. We are not only to bring the beautiful part of the bouquet, but we can bring the thorns as well. I hope that most of you tonight, though, however, with this wonderful Hanukkah celebration, are feeling more rosy than thorny. I hope so. Well, please rise on page 164 as we start the tefillah together.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'Konei Hakol V'Zocher Chastei Avot v'Imahot U'Mevi Geula Livnei Bneihem Lema'an Shemo be'ahava Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Abraham ve'ezrat Sarah Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai Mechayei hakol atah Rav le'Hoshia Mashiv haruach u'morid hagashem Mechalkel chayim v'chesed Mechayei hakol Somech noflim v'rofei cholim U'matir asurim U'mekayem emunato Lishenei afar Michamocha ba'al givurot U'mido melach Melech meimit u'mechayeh U'matzmiach Yeshua V'ne'emanata lehachayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai mechayeh hakol Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh U'kadoshim b'chol yom yehalelu chasela Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. are from the garden. We are from the flood. We are from the angels singing, all you need is love. We are from the mountain and the hope blowing on the wind. We are from the Holy One within. Through a world marred by hatred, we'll walk hand in hand. A light unto the nation for every person in every land. No matter where we come from, no matter where we've been, we are from the Holy One within. We are from the wandering, we are from the dream, we are from the fight to understand what freedom means. We are from the promise and the hope for a better land. We are from the marching hand in hand.
And now we think of those who are in need of healing. Healing of body, mind, or spirit, or of all three. And I have here a list of names of those we know are in need of healing. But as I open my arms, and this goes for you also, those who are worshiping from afar, as I open my arms, please say the name or names of those you are thinking of who are now in need of healing. So for all those we have named, as well as all of those good people around the world who are in need of healing at this time, we sing this healing Mishaberach.
Mishaberach Avotenu Mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach imotenu mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Shabbat Shalom and Happy Hanukkah. It's wonderful to be here with all of these beautiful lights in person and all of these beautiful lights shining from these seats and all of these beautiful lights I know are shining toward us from afar. Most of us know the story about Hanukkah, about the one jar of oil that burned for 8 nights. As the story goes, the Maccabees, having won their hard-fought battle with the Syrian Greek army, returned to the desecrated Holy Temple and began the process of cleansing and reconsecrating it. This began with the lighting of the menorah, then a 7-branched candelabra, now depicted as part of the official logo of the State of Israel. But alas, they had only 1 jar of oil in order to be able to light up the temple. This may not sound like a big tragedy, but once I saw a meme that really put this into perspective for our time. It said, imagine that your cell phone only had enough battery to last for 1 day, and then it lasted for 8. So that's the miracle of Hanukkah. So I have reason to doubt the historicity, the factual, historical basis of this story about the oil, and this being the miracle, although I think most of us learned that that was the miracle of Hanukkah in our religious schools as kids, if you attended religious school. But I won't go into the reasons for that tonight. You can ask me at another time. But I believe that really the miracle that the celebration of the first Hanukkah refers to is more about having won this hard-fought battle. And they were actually outnumbered not only by the Syrian Greeks, but other Hellenized Jews. Jews were fighting one another at this time. And that's something we don't like to look at. But really, the Hellenized Jews were there as well with the Syrian Greek army. So I think it was more likely a celebration of winning the battle over our overlords and over the assimilation at that time. However, we can all relate to the fact that it was a miracle, and it is still a miracle, that we survived this and so many other times that we have found ourselves in peril. And the oil of the lamp is still significant. We still celebrate it with the lighting of the Chanukiah, the Hanukkah menorah. Most of us don't use oil here, but actually in Israel you'll see many Chanukiahs with the oil wicks, and actually my cousins in Israel gifted us with some, so we have oil and wicks at our home as well. And certainly in ancient days, that's what they were using. And certainly, we remember the oil with the oily foods that we eat during this time. The latkes, the sufganiyot, which are the donuts. You may wonder why we're going to have donuts at our oneg. Well, that is one custom of what we eat on Hanukkah. So the oil is also symbolic of other lessons that we can learn. According to the ancient Midrash Rabbah to the Song of Songs, there are 5 ways in which Jews are like oil, olive oil in particular. 1, as oil refuses to mix with other liquids, Jews have remained distinct throughout our exile. 2, as oil soaks through everything, the Jews have been everywhere on the globe. 3, as oil floats to the top, so Jews have risen to be leaders in humanity's progress. 4, as oil brings light to the world, so the Jews are a light unto the nations. And 5, as the olive is crushed to produce oil, the Jews, when crushed, shine yet more light. In many ways, our Torah portion this week, which is Parshat Miketz, is a foreshadowing of all of these attributes for our people. And our Torah portion is actually the continuation of the Joseph story. So let's look at each of these 5 lessons about olive oil in relation to Joseph. So first, while remaining distinct while in exile. So Joseph albeit in exile, even in prison, never forgets his heritage and his connection to the God of Israel. The text in last week's portion tells us that even while he was there in prison, God was with him. And when interpreting the dreams of the butler and the baker in prison, and later the dreams of Pharaoh, Joseph credits God for his ability to interpret the dreams. The second attribute of oil is that it soaks through everything, and thus the Midrash teaches we have been, as Jews, everywhere throughout the globe. Joseph's exile to Egypt, first as a slave and then gaining prominence, foreshadows the entirety of Jewish history. We Jews have wandered throughout the world, first usually possessing very little, and then gaining prominence in every land in which we have found ourselves. The third of these is that as oil floats to the top, Jews have risen in leadership for all humanity. Certainly a wonderful example of this is found in the story of Joseph, as he becomes second only to Pharaoh, enabling all who come to him to procure food in the famine. And thus he also exemplifies the fourth characteristic of being a light unto the nations. The fifth and final attribute of oil listed in the Midrash is, as the olive is crushed to produce oil, the Jews, when crushed, produce more light. Joseph is in his lowest place in the prison, after having been falsely accused of trying to seduce the wife of Potiphar, his master, who actually tried to seduce him. But rather than descending into bitterness and despair, Joseph has his shining moment of interpreting the dreams of the butler and the baker. And he does so because he remains connected to the divine and channels the divine through his interpretation. Even in his darkest hour, when crushed by his imprisonment, Joseph shines a light for all. We are the inheritors of both the oil and the story of Joseph, our ancestor and his leadership and shining light. May we too be able to retain our heritage and tradition and utilize it as a beacon to shine throughout the darkness of our world, as our Chanukiot glow reminds us. Shabbat Shalom. And now we have a few announcements, and Betty, our co-president, Betty Adams, will deliver those.
Okay, first of all, I scared myself. Can everybody hear me? Because I know that I hear that sometimes people can't hear. Shabbat Shalom. I am Betty Adams, the co-president of Temple Sinai, along with Lynn Weinstein. Happy Hanukkah, everybody. It's so good to see more of you every week. And first of all, we'd like to thank the following sponsors for this evening. Tonight's Erev Shabbat service is sponsored by Audrey and Richard Mortman in memory of Morris Mortman. Lori and Steve Tamber in honor of Steve's 78th birthday. Happy birthday, Steve. Michelle and Eugene Levy in honor of Eugene's 75th birthday. Happy birthday, Eugene. And the following donations to the community food pantries are sponsored by Lori and Steve Tamber in honor of Steve's 78th birthday, and Marcia Weber in honor of Sam Weinman's speedy recovery. Our Saturday, December 4th Shabbat Torah study is sponsored by Audrey and Richard Mortman in memory of Morris Mortman, Elaine and Arnold Drapkin in memory of Aaron Cutler, Arlene and Larry Strauss in memory of Arlene's beloved father, Bernard Oken, Lori and Steve Tamber in honor of Steve's 78th birthday. And before I talk about any other events, I want to remind everyone that tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., there will be a Saturday morning Shabbat service right here. And it's a really nice thing to attend. I've been there and I will be there tomorrow. So we have things going on here. We have music, the Renditions, who are a group of retired doctors, engineers, all kinds of professionals who can even sing really well. They were here in 2019, and we sold out, so we're going to maybe sell out again. Who knows? Judy Stern will be selling tickets tonight. The actual tickets will be in next week, but she'll take orders, and I ask you all to get your tickets and then go home and get your friends to come too, because it's a great night. It really is fun. There's going to be a fun dessert after the show. We have so much. Then we are selling tickets for the Spanish River Concert Series. There is information in the lobby. Sherry Friedman and Harvey Fields will help you out with that. You can order your tickets through us. It is a fundraiser for the temple. The concerts are not here. They are at the Spanish River Church, and they are, from what I hear, marvelous. There's a series. You can do individuals. And by the way, you can see Judy Stern for the renditions tickets. And again, Harvey Fields or Sherry Friedman tonight to get your tickets for the Spanish River Concert Series. We're also having the food drive. The holiday food drive is still going on in our lobby. You can bring your non-perishable foods anytime between now and December 18th. Come to services, bring it then, come during the week, drop it off. It's great, thank you. There's also a toy drive. We are collecting toys for the Palm Beach County families with migrant families, for the children of the migrant families. We've done this for several years, and you heard the name Steve Sapoznik before. His wife, Ellen, of blessed memory, is one of the honored people that we are honoring. You know what I mean. Anyway, she was a wonderful woman, and she would love to know that we're getting toys to children in her name. And let's see, Adult Ed has a couple of marvelous events so far, and December 19th is Rose Feinberg. They had Jewish roots too. I'm sure it'll be great. Rose is a really good presenter. You can see Jane Brown, I think, tonight to sign up. Yes, Jane? No, Jane? Oh, not yet. Okay, but think about it. And there are flyers in the lobby for all of these events, by the way. And Brotherhood on December 19th is having Mike Saunders, the trainer, December 12th. 19th is Adult Ed. I need better notes. Anyway, he was a former trainer for the New York Knicks and has a lot of great stories about famous people, all that good gossip and stuff. So you can sign up tonight with Jay Sweet or Eric Adams for Brotherhood. You don't have to be a member of Brotherhood to attend. You don't have to be a temple member to attend. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
So we have one more announcement, but it is a religious announcement. It is the announcement of Rosh Chodesh, the new moon, which is actually today. It's on Shabbat. So if you could turn to page, I think it's 509. I think it's 509, or it might be 519. I didn't write it here. Let's see. 519. 519.
Okay. Yeah, that
519.
works. Also 379.
Oh, okay. It's
Yeah.
in two places.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have the Rosh Chodesh blessing on page 519, and those who are able to do so, please rise for the blessing, and then we will go into the Aleinu.
Yehi ratzon milfanecha Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu שחדש עלינו את החודש הזה לטובה ולברכה ותיתן לנו חיים ארוכים, חיים של שלום, חיים פרנסה, חיים שתהא בנו אהבת תורה ויראת שמיים, חיים שימלאו משאלות ליבנו לטובה, אמן, סלה.
Please join me in reading in the English. Our God and God of our ancestors, may the new month bring us goodness and blessing. May we have long life, peace, and prosperity, a life exalted by love of Torah and reverence for the divine. a life in which the longings of our hearts are fulfilled for good. Rosh Chodesh Tevet Hu Hayom, the new month of Tevet, begins today. May it be for good. And let's say, Amen.
Aleinu. It's up to us to call ourselves to task, to sing what's good and true, to bring about redemption. It's what we were free to do. For what's the point of being here if we're not moved to change our ways? Aleinu l'shabeach. It's time to live our praise.
Page 586.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הרצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Please take a seat. I once had a dream in which I viewed God and the world as a gigantic Chanukiah, as a gigantic Hanukkah menorah, or menorah, however you see it, but with many, 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 many flames. And this dream felt to me like it was teaching me that just as the shamash lights all of the flames, without itself going dimmer, doesn't give up anything of its own flame to light another, we have within us a flame that was lit by the source of life. And that is what makes us made in the divine image. There is here in our prayer book on page 593 at the bottom of the page, one of the descriptions of life and death before the mourner's Kaddish is about flame. But I tend to avoid this reading because I don't see it exactly in the theology that is described here. Here it says that the candle of our life burns down in gutters and there is an end to the flames. And that's not exactly how I see the soul. I see it as, yes, the life we have here, there is an end to this life. But the flame returns to its source and lives on. And that flame is our neshama. That is the part of our soul that lives on, that goes on to olam haba, to the next world. And so I see this as a very hopeful way of looking at life and death. Our flame just goes to another place where it goes back to its shamash. With that in mind, we have many people we are thinking of this week who are on our yahrzeit list, who have the anniversary of their passing at this time. Those whose names are illuminated on the plaques surrounding the sanctuary, are David Brody, Isaac Chodash, Morris Chotener, Simon Cohen, Celia Epstein, J. L. Fisher, Harry Greenstein, Florence Halpern, Ruth Hirsch, Samuel Hirschberg, Madeline Kaufman, Saul Klopman, Hyman Mintz, Marnie Raymond, Frida Rice, Florence Rosenstein, Ethel Rosenthal, Nathaniel Rothenberg, Rose Rothman, Murray Satel, Irma Talkman, Jack Weinstock, and Adelaide B. Weisengreen. Others recalled at this time: Aaron Cutler, Ben Ekman, Ida Ekman, Sam Emmerman, Max L. Goldberg, Gary Hames, Dr. Maurice Kay, Morris Mortman, Bernard Oken, Lila Schwartz, and Helen Scorman. We also recall with sadness the more recent passings of Diane Roman, Pauline or Penny Altus, Ruth Lewis, and Elaine Cohen. If you are thinking of someone whose name I did not say, please raise your hand as I gesture around the room, and I will gesture to you to please say the name aloud. Anyone else? And those who are worshiping from afar, please say the names of those you are thinking of at this time as well. And so, in memory of all those we have named, as well as those who perished in the Shoah, we rise in solidarity with mourners everywhere as we recite Mourner's Kaddish on page 598. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma divarach Yeruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, B'chayechon uvyomechon, Uv'chaye d'chol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala uvizman kari v'imru, Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah mevorach le'olam ul almei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei kudesha b'richu, le'elah min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, da'amiran ba'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehei shalom araba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel, and to all who mourn among us. And let us all say, Amen.
Amen.
Please take a seat for our closing song. What other Jewish language exists besides Hebrew and Yiddish? Does anyone know? Ladino.
There it is.
And here we go.
And even more that some people don't even know about, like the
Yeah.
Abba Yudaya people in Africa.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's true. That's true.
Chanukah linda sta aquí, ocho candelas para mí. Chanukah linda sta aquí, ocho candelas para mí. Oh, una candelica, dos candelica, tres candelicas, cuatro candelicas, 100 candelicas, 6 candelicas, 7 candelicas, 8 candelas para mí. Muchas fiestas vou fazer, con alegría y placer. Muchas fiestas vou fazer, con alegría y placer. Oh, una candelica, 2 candelicas, 3 candelicas, 4 candelicas, 8 candelicas, 6 candelicas, 7 candelicas, 8 candelas para mí.
So before we go, well, this isn't quite motzi. This is mizonot, but I'm going to pretend. There's a different blessing that you say for donuts or for something that is not bread, but is made from a bread product. But I'm not going to do that to confuse you. We're just going to do the motzi, and then we'll be off to actually enjoy the oneg together. And I hope those who are worshiping from afar have something yummy to eat as well. We have sufganiyot, which are donuts. So let's say the hamotzi together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Shabbat
Shabbat
shalom.
shalom and Hanukkah sameach.
Chag
These
u'rim
have
sameach.
jelly in them.
Thank you, David.
Oh, that's okay. That's all right. We make do.
One time I'm going to surprise you again with peanut Grigio in there.
Oh, we have that one.